Hey, you're alive. When I dragged you out of the river, I thought you were never gonna wake up. I checked your pockets for ID, a phone, maybe. I hope you don't mind. But all I found was some loose change. So, wanna tell me who you are?
Let's be simple and just say Gent.
Well, it's nice to meet you. And I'm sorry to pry, but any idea why you were floating down the river? What's the last thing you remember?
I was searching for ancient ruins. Years of studying history give you occasional insights into the ancient world. Ooh, interesting. I was on a covert mission. Soldier, you have a military-issued firearm, but only 10 bullets. You'll have to use them judiciously, since there's no way to get more. Ooh. I was on the run from the law. Your time on the run from authorities has made you quick on your feet, and you're 25% faster when sprinting. I barely remember anything. Your recent head trauma has increased your brain has increased your pain threshold, making you 50% harder to take down. Ah, yes, that head trauma, making your body even stronger. Just like Goku always said, hit me harder. Gosh damn it. Alright, I'm stuck between these two. Because moving faster, okay, cool. Having more health, sure, fine. But these seem like they'll actually change the game a bit. My eyes are up here, thank you. While I am more like this, I would also probably... If I'm going into something like this, I think I want to be armed.
Really? You're a soldier? But why are you out of uniform? Oh, was it a black op? Are you a soldier of fortune? You know what? Don't answer that. I don't think I want to know. But this should be a piece of cake for someone like you. There are some ruins just behind you. Roman, I think. I need you to go in there and see if you can find a guy named Al for me. He went in there a few hours ago, and he hasn't come out. I've been freaking out, wondering if he's trapped or injured or worse. I would have gone in after him, but he made me promise to stay here, no matter what. There's no way I'm leaving without him, so I'm just kind of stuck here, waiting. What I mean is, I was hoping you wouldn't mind going in there to find him? If you can do that, I can get both of you back to civilization in my boat. Please?
Why didn't... Okay. I'll wait to see what the questions are, because there might be some questions I was already going to ask.
Oh, of course. Sorry, I don't mean to be pushy. What do you want to know?
That is actually the first question I was going to ask.
What am I, an idiot? You could hike a long, long way in any direction and never find another soul. Trust me.
Alright. Fair. I figured you'd have a cell phone or something, though. Who is Al, and more importantly, does he have a toy barn?
He's the guy who washed up on the riverbank not long before you did. I thought maybe you two knew each other. I guess not. But maybe the two of you can piece together what you're doing here. In any case, you'll like him, I'm sure. Once you find him, that is.
I thought you knew him. Maybe I might have missed some information there. That's on me. You'll have to forgive me. I just did get pulled out of a river. This is a river, right? I assume it was a river. Where are we?
You really don't remember? We're in Italy.
Yeah, okay, a river.
This river is the Tiber.
Tell me about the ruins.
Not much, really. But imagine what you might find in there. Priceless ancient artifacts. Al...
How rude. How do you know Al isn't a priceless artifact? I don't know how old he is, so I left the ancient part out because I don't want to be rude. What's your
Oh,
story?
there's not much to tell. Feels like I've spent my whole life in a dead-end job with an endless commute. Know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. But yeah, you're not even gonna tell me your name?
Oh, I'd rather not say if it's all the same to you.
Are you serious? The first thing you asked was my name. I'd really like to know, especially if I'm gonna be helping you.
All right, fine. Sorry if I sounded cagey, it's just that I don't always get the best reactions when I introduce myself. My name's Karen.
That would... I was just about to say that too.
Yeah, something like that. But right now, I have bigger problems, like finding Al. Great. So you're ready to go look for Al?
Yeah, I'm in.
Thank you. The entrance is just past those columns behind you. Please, hurry.
Quid pro quo. Are you gonna eat this? I'm starving. Holy cow! I just wanted to pull up my flashlight, man. Jeez. I am definitely not a soldier. Look at that trigger discipline. It is non-existent. What the heck? Oh my goodness. Enter the ruins. Rusted metal torch. Must have been lit by Al. So, in case y'all didn't know, this was originally a Skyrim mod. I never played it. I only heard about it. I 1,000 times I thought about downloading it because I heard it was so good, and it won like some sort of award for the writing in the mod itself, which is insane to think that a mod could win a writing award. And then I heard they turned it into an actual game, and I've been wanting to play it for a while, but I've been waiting so that I can record it. I gotta say, like, the details in this game are... It looks really nice for a game made by 3 people. Even the dripping fire. A backpack full of worn hiking clothes and empty food packets. Nothing valuable here, but still. It seems strange that Al left it all behind. Oh, a little sensitive on the examining. What if I wanted to take it? I'm sure I could use it. Oh, okay, blocked off. To be expected.
If you're reading this, it means I've discovered the entrance to an ancient Roman city hidden deep underground. Its existence is long forgotten, all knowledge of it lost, except in the Latin inscription here. It reads, "You who wish to enter the city, step forth and be judged. The virtuous shall be rewarded with eternal life in paradise. The wicked shall find themselves showered in gold, but in vain, for this shall be their final resting place." could an underground city have remained a secret for all this time?
Well,
Could people have survived down there, against the odds? It seems there's only one way to find out.
these horse... I thought those were arms for...
If I'm not back...
Oh, crap!
Not back in an hour, I'm somewhere on the other side. Consider this an invitation. Or a warning.
Okay, Al.
Worth.
Was it Al worth it? Broken cell phone. No use now. I wouldn't say that. I'm pretty sure there's probably some... I'm a little bit of a hoarder. I'd probably take it with me. What's going on? No. 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 I don't like that. No. No, no, no. Oh, that one I saw. I saw you do that. I saw that. You don't frickin' do that. You don't frickin' do that. No! I don't like it. Don't like it. I'm warning you. Back the frick off. Just statues of pure gold everywhere. It's the creepiest freaking thing. This is going to be another thing that drops me down. Ancient Roman mosaic depicting a godlike figure turning a man into gold. Oh. Midas touch. That golden shimmer with the slightest touch. No one's going to get this reference. Latin plaque, which given its position seems important. If only I could read Latin. Oh. If I had picked the archaeologist, I probably could read it. Well, regretting that a little bit now. Roman gladiator mid-stride. What could have made a gladiator flee? Probably a lot of stuff. Gladiators didn't really want to be where they were. They were slaves. I'm literally dying for other people's enjoyment. Your name's Adiova. Okay, cool. Young woman. Looks like she was begging for her life. It's so uncomfortable that they keep looking at me. It's so uncomfortable. I thought it was a footstep for a second. F5 to quick save, F9 to quick load. Do that right now, just for in cases. Knock knock. Roman military commander attempting to scramble away from something. Roman legionary in a state of terror. Al just lit every bonfire on the way over here, like some sort of Dark Souls player. Some of them turn to look at me and some of them don't, and it really makes me uncomfortable. Roman woman who appears to be praying for help that never came. Can you imagine if I was moving 25% faster? Oh. Oh no. Is it golden statue of an old man wearing modern clothing? This must be Al, but how is that possible? Oh, poor Al.
To whoever reads this, I'm sorry you had to find me like this. And worse, that you'll suffer the same fate I did. I've spent a lifetime in this place, going around and around in circles, searching for a way out. The inscription was right. There is no way back. In here, there are only two options: death, or that godforsaken doorway into the past. I made the mistake of stepping through it. I wanted to set things right, and I tried. I really tried. Whatever I did, it took me right back to the beginning. Don't make the same mistake. Better to end it all now, and find out what awaits you beyond that portal.
So you're saying I should just... Or, you know, I ain't gonna do that. Nah, fam. That ain't me. Younger woman in a state of panic. Okay. I'm getting the fact that they're all just scared. That's different. Remains of a human. Whoever it was died a long, long time ago. It's like the one upstairs, but this one sucks me into it instead. relief depicting a great circular portal and 2 women. I wonder who they could be. Figure out how to return to my original time. Oh.
Salve, friend. I'm Galerius. Mind telling me who you are and what you were doing in the Shrine of Proserpina?
Oh, Proserpina. That's not actually a name I know. Shoot. I'm Gent, and I've just come from the future. That's giving away a little too much. Gent and I got lost? I don't... Shrine of Proserpina?
Yeah, you know, agricultural goddess of springtime? You're not from around here, are you? Oh, I see what you did there. Changing the subject like that. Nice try. But I'll ask again. Who are you? And what were you doing in the shrine?
Why not? I doubt he's gonna believe me anyway.
No idea what you're talking about. Oh, wait. Are you a bit, you know, not right in the head? That's all right, friend. Everyone's welcome here.
Rude. What's today's date?
We sort of lose track of the date down here, but it feels like the beginning of spring to me, so I'd say early March? It's 817 AUC. Sorry, you look confused. 817 years since the founding of Rome. Which part of the Empire are you from, exactly? Hey, not so loud. Just saying that name could land you in trouble here. If you haven't heard, his cultists burned down half of Rome last year. Horrible business. I heard Nero executed some of them, but a lot of people are still angry with them. Even down here. So, if you're one of them, keep it to yourself. But listen, most folks seem a bit confused when they get here, but you seem very lost, and in more ways than one. So, let me make this nice and simple for you. Live by our law here, and we'll all get along just fine.
What are your laws?
Not laws, law. There's just one, the golden rule, and the punishment for breaking it's... well, it's kind of horrific. But our magistrate insists we take all newcomers to see him, so I guess I'll let him fill you in. So then, you coming?
Yeah, sure.
Follow me. When I first arrived, I couldn't believe there were people living down here. But, as you can see, we've got a nice little community
that's
now.
nice. I can just hit E and automatically follow.
Only 23 of us at the moment, if you count the 3 who are missing. No idea how, since nobody knows a way out. But it's just big and dark enough to get lost in, if you're not careful.
Aren't you going to introduce me to your handsome new friend, Galerius?
Keep it in your loincloth, Aurelia. I'm taking him to see the magistrate.
That pompous old bore won't be magistrate for much longer. Anyone who helps vote him out today drinks at my bar for free tonight.
Politics.
That's-
I'd stay clear of
that's-
it and her, if I were you.
Vote.
She's...
You're messing with voting there.
not
I don't
much to
remember
say.
exactly what it's called.
Down on your right is our farm, where I grow all the food you'll ever want. As long as all you want is leek, cabbage, and wheat. Huh. That one usually gets a chuckle.
The bloodless shadows wander without flesh or bone.
Don't mind Livia. She means well. She's just been in a bad place since... well, you know, I don't know what happened to her.
I would have laughed at your
Up
joke.
here on your right
Okay.
is the chasm. If you've got a weapon, it belongs way down at the bottom. Up on your left is the forum, where you can visit the market or get yourself patched up in Lucretia's clinic in the Shrine of Apollo. Most of us have almost nothing, just what we had on us when we arrived, and what we've been able to make and scrounge up since. And this
What the
central
heck?
plateau is where the magistrate and the other patricians live, so don't expect a warm welcome.
Galerius, you're meant to be working the farm, not trudging dirt into the villas.
Take it easy, Horatius. I was just taking our new friend here to see the magistrate.
Well, he's asked me to escort the newcomer personally. The farm. Go. Now.
You'd better go with him. But just remember, they're not like you and me. Don't let them use you.
What was that? What did you just say?
I said it'll take some getting used to.
Yeah, I'm watching you, farm boy. Greetings, citizen. My name's Horatius. Magistrate Sentius asked me to escort you to him personally. Follow me, please.
What's this
I
about?
expect the magistrate wants to brief you about the Golden Rule. It shouldn't take too long. He's busy preparing for the election later today.
Alright, lead the
Follow
way.
me. The only thing you really need to understand right now is the Golden Rule. Let me see if I can explain it this way. When I was serving in the Legion, if there was a mutiny brewing in one cohort, the legate in charge wouldn't waste time finding the bad apples among hundreds. They just divided us into groups of 10, made us draw straws, and whoever drew the short straw had to be executed by the other 9. Didn't matter whether they'd done anything wrong. One of us in 10 would die for the crimes of the collective. We call it decimation. If that seems like rough justice to you, you're in for a rude shock. Because the Golden Rule is exactly 10 times worse. The magistrate can
Holy
explain the rest.
crap.
Who's up these stairs?
I know a lot of this stuff. It's just listening to him talk about it like that was just jarring. Like the horror in his voice. These stairs are freaking triggering me.
We're finally alone. I assume you already know who I am. May I know your name?
I'm Gent.
A curious name to match a curious accent. But I digress. I see you have the posture of a military man, though your garments are most peculiar. I pray to Mars your skill set won't be necessary here, but time will tell. Now, you're probably wondering why I summoned you, and I'll get to that. But first, take a look at this wondrous place, would you? A secret city built deep in the mountains many hundreds of years ago.
I have to admit, it's pretty beautiful.
Indeed. More importantly, consider the miraculous community we've built here over the last 7 months.
7 months?
22 complete strangers brought together by the fates, living and working together in our
Yeah, I said
own
23 before.
paradise. And in all that time, not a single sin has been committed. No fights, no theft, nothing. Have you ever witnessed something so extraordinary as a city without sin?
Can't say I have.
Nor could I, until I came here. But the reason for this miracle is as simple as it is terrifying. If even one person commits a sin here, every last one of us will die. You see, the builders of this place, whoever they were, left inscriptions warning, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." From what we can gather, breaking the law here will anger the gods and provoke a terrible punishment. Like the curses of Medusa and Midas combined, turning us all to gold. We've come to call it the Golden Rule. It's extraordinary that we've survived as long as we have, and each day I grow more and more afraid that our time in the sun is almost up. And now it seems that day is finally here. All that matters is that somebody in this city is about to break the Golden Rule. Why else would Proserpina send you now? Unless you and I can stop them, our doom is assured. I know that's a lot to take in, and you look like you have questions. Please, ask away.
Okay. What kind... Yeah. It's wonderful how many of these dialogue options are actual things I was thinking while he was talking. I didn't want to say them and interrupt his dialogue. What counts as a sin here?
An intelligent question. There was a good deal of debate about that in our first weeks here. Does it refer to crimes or to some other ill-defined wrong? Of course, everyone agrees on the basics. No theft, no assault, and certainly no murder. But beyond that, it was more difficult to reach a consensus. What about lying, insulting someone, blasphemy, trespass, trying to escape, bribery, infidelity, suicide? As magistrate, I had to exercise leadership, and so I made a decision. We must uphold the laws of the Empire to a standard never before seen. And we must honor the peace of the gods, the sacred accord between the gods and the people of Rome. It is only by offering the gods the proper respect that we may prosper, as Rome has for centuries.
Not sure if that's a good idea. What is legal isn't always moral. Many of your laws and customs are considered barbaric where I'm from. That's true, but I think a lot of our rules and laws would be considered barbaric where he's from as well, so... I think it makes sense.
I'm glad you agree. The key things to remember are that we have laws forbidding treason and blasphemy, murder, assault, and rape, as well as theft and arson and so on. I have made my pronouncement on the subject. Unfortunately, there are still those here who resist, whispering blasphemous and treasonous lies in the shadows. I would be keeping a close eye on them if I were you.
What do you mean when you said Proserpina sent me?
You see, in my search for a way to save my people, I learned of an ancient ritual to Proserpina, the goddess of the cycle of life and renewal. It's said to open a doorway in time so that if the unthinkable happens, one person can pass through it and travel back to the past. And when I saw you arrive in a flash of light from the goddess's shrine, I knew that person was you. You don't belong in our time, do you?
You're right. I'm from 2,000 years in the future.
2,000 years? That is unfathomable. Please tell me, in your time, what did you see? What had become of us? Of this city?
Yeah. Sorry, dude.
I have imagined it, our downfall, 1,000 times. But it still breaks my heart to hear the truth of it.
How does this ritual
All I can
work?
tell you is that it's a ritual sacrifice to Proserpina. I stumbled across instructions. I have to recite a prayer, and of course, as with all rituals, some sacrifice is involved. Usually that means wine or food, or in some cases a live animal. In this case, the sacrifice is rather more costly. The life of the person performing the ritual.
That's the
I
bones.
don't suppose you saw any sign of me in the future?
I did see human remains in the temple.
I assume that was me. If I'm forced to perform the ritual, it's going to cost me everything. You'll try to make sure I don't need to use it, won't you?
Yeah, I'll do my best, man.
Well, I suppose that's all I can ask for.
This guy has a lot of weight on his shoulders, I can already tell. Why can't you invest? Oh, that's kind of obvious. I mean, he's the magistrate. He's got a lot of other business to attend to, and it seems like a lot of people are behind his back. But I'll ask the question anyway, just to get the dialogue option.
Well, I believe you're in the best position to go around asking people questions. You're new here, and it'll seem perfectly normal.
That's a good point.
As for me, well, it pains me to say my attempts to impose order have not earned me many friends. I fear I may not even remain magistrate after today's election. The people here would only treat my curiosity with suspicion. You shouldn't have that problem, though, unless, of course, you get off on the wrong foot.
Fair enough. Do you have any suspects?
Do you ever stare at a problem for so long that you can't see it for what it is anymore? What's needed here is a fresh pair of eyes. The less I prejudice the independence of your investigation, the better.
I like this guy. I like the way he thinks. That's actually really smart. Fair enough. How do I know you're not the person responsible? Well, I don't think he would... I feel like the person responsible would probably be the first person to be hit by the curse. Fair enough. Why can we understand each other? I don't speak Latin.
You mean you couldn't speak Latin before you arrived here? How strange. But the gods are active here, and their temples and shrines hum with power like nowhere else in the Empire. Perhaps when Proserpina brought you here, she planted the seed of Latin in your mind so that you could better serve her.
Awesome.
Indeed.
If I do this, will you help me get back to my own time?
If I understand Proserpina's ritual correctly, that problem should take care of itself. Let me see if I can explain. If you manage to prevent the sin that breaks the Golden Rule, I won't need to bring you here. I won't create the portal, and you will never have been able to come here. Thus, you'll have created a paradox. If this occurs, you should be flung back to your own time, having changed the past for all of us. Make sense?
Sure, why not? That's all the questions I had.
So, are you with me? Can I count on you to figure out who's about to break the Golden Rule?
Yeah, it really doesn't seem like I have
I
much
don't
choice.
suppose you do. But I'm hoping that even if you're not burdened with a sense of self-sacrifice, you'll at least see the sense in self-preservation.
Good boy.
Wonderful. Now, I need you to investigate the city, talk to everyone, help them if it'll win their trust. I authorize you to enter private homes and inspect possessions and documents, unless, of course, you're asked to leave. Figure out who the culprit is, and as soon as you have a name, come back and tell me immediately.
Alright, I'll get started.
Oh, and one last thing. If I were you, I'd start my investigation by visiting Lucretia at the Shrine of Apollo in the Forum. I heard wailing from there not long ago. Seems like something's not right.
I'll get to it.